I felt so silly. I was thinking, you're a grown woman, you make your own money. If you want the thing, just buy the darn thing. If you don't want it, let it go and move on. And so I had decided, you know what? I don't need it. It will probably just gather dust in my studio. It would be nice to have, um, as a reference for sculpting because it is articulated. So, I could pose it and stuff, and it would be awesome. It just looks very futuristic and kind of cool. And I think it would be a kind of a cool thing to have. I love AI. I love robot-y things. I love futuristic things. And it also had this like kind of prosthetic feel to me. I don't know why, but it does. It's not a prosthetic, but it reminded me of that. It's just the color and the metal. And that night, I kind of had this dream about friends that I had when I was a kid. Now, when I was a kid, I had these two friends in elementary school. They were both the same age as my sister and I. And they lived close by us in our neighborhood, and we played with them often. We did sleepovers, birthday parties, we hung out at school, that kind of thing. And one of them, the younger sister, and I can't remember, I was really too young to understand what the medical problem was, but I just remember for a while it seemed like she had her arm in a sling and had something wrong with it. She had an infection or what happened. But one day at school, I'm trying to figure out what baby this goes to. I think it goes over here. One day at school, she was playing double dutch jump rope, and the rope hit her arm, and it burst open, and it was very dramatic and traumatic. And I don't remember if an ambulance came or what happened, but she was whisked away. We didn't see her for quite some time. I remember her mom coming by our house for something, I don't know what it was, and telling us that she had had her arm amputated. And I never knew anybody with an amputation up until that point. Came back to school, we started playing again, and she had her arm missing. And I was completely fascinated with it. I couldn't look at it enough. I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I kept wondering, what was it like, to be without that? Does her mind know that it's gone? Does she miss it? Is she glad that it's gone because now it's not giving her trouble? And I didn't want to ask her. I knew that was something that I wasn't supposed to ask. So we just pretend like everything was normal. And for the most part it was. She was just the same person she ever was. She was just missing her arm. And I don't know, sometime later she got fitted with a prosthetic arm, which made absolutely no sense to me. It was this plastic thing on hinges with this like claw hook thing. And she was supposed to learn to use that in place of her arm and her hand. And I could tell she didn't like it. I can tell she wasn't comfortable with it. And even though she didn't like it and she didn't want to use it, I guess the doctors in the hospital were telling her mom that she's just going to have to get over that and learn to use it. It was the best thing for her. And so her mom would make her wear it to school, and at lunchtime she'd take it off and she'd lose it or leave it on the playground or all this stuff. And at some point her mom just, I think, had mercy and just said, forget about it, this is just not worth it, and didn't make her use it anymore. And I remember I spent the night at her house once, and it was just like her and her sister had these bunk beds, and she just kind of had it hanging from the back of the bed, like, like a jump rope or something. It was just there. And I thought it was so cool. I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out how it worked or why it would work or why anybody would make a kid wear that damn thing. And I was a creepy little kid, and I used to fantasize that I would make her a robot arm. It's just a part of my thinking. I used to draw it at school. I used to think about it, how I could make it work. I just couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't understand. And I'd like look at my dolls and we had like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And I thought, why couldn't they make her arm like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, you know? But instead of fist punching, they would be fingers opening and closing. I was obsessed with this idea for like an entire school year. And then they up and moved. And they didn't move far, but the way I grew up, if you moved outside of like a 5-mile radius, you probably wouldn't see those people anymore because they'd be going to a different school. And, you know, it's not like now where everybody keeps in touch and makes play dates and you drive to different cities to see your old friends. It was just like, see ya, we'll make some new friends. And I missed them so much. And then later on, we would end up moving to another city, go to a brand new junior high school, and guess who I would see at my junior high school? Yep, our old friends. I was so happy to see them. And then when I went to high school, we moved again. So I ended up going to a different high school and lost touch with them. And you know, over the years, I always wondered, where are they? What happened to them? How are they doing? But you know, I just kind of never pursued it. I figured it would seem weird or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm telling that story to kind of explain to myself why I was drawn to that doll, and I think it's because it reminds me of a prosthetic. It has that kind of industrial hospital look. It looks like a piece of equipment, but it also is a really cuddly, pretty baby. And so I think it's just like bringing back a lot of weirdness and good memories and just little things, and I kind of liked it. There's all that. So then I open up my email one day, like 2 days later, and a friend of mine on a forum writes to me and says, hey, I heard that you were looking for one of those babies. And guess what? I have one. I bought it several years ago. I had this idea that I'd paint it and reborn it. It would be really cool, but I just never did. It's just been sitting here, and I haven't done a doggone thing with it. I have always wanted to have one of your babies, and I was going to buy one at the Rose Show, but it got canceled. And so I've just been waiting for the right time to order one. Would you be interested in trading? And I said, yes. And so she has Grace by Ping Lao. And she said, I have been saving her, and I'd really love it if you could paint that baby. Can I send it to you? And I'll trade you for I call it the robot baby. And I said, of course, yes. And honestly, she is one of the nicest people in the world, and I'd have done it anyway if she asked me. I really love her. She's a pretty amazing person. But what a great trade, and I just feel like I'm so happy. I mean, it's a total win-win for me because honestly, I am really looking forward to painting that baby. She's a toddler, and I don't like painting toddlers that much. They're just so big and they take so much work. And oop, here comes that rain again. So, I get to paint that Ping Lao, which I'm pretty excited about. And I get this little mannequin baby that I really want. Just like, you know. And also, no one that I know personally who collects, and she's quite a collector, has seen my babies. You know, I sell babies to collectors, but they're people who, you know, I don't have an invested relationship with other than, you know, the one that we create through the transaction. And she's, you know, she's seen my babies in photographs, but she's never held one or had one. And I was so honored that she really wanted one. It made me so happy. So yeah, it's all going to come together. Now, because I am not a collector of these babies, I don't feel like I can totally relate 100% to the people who are buying my babies, because I see it from my point of view, and that is trying to make a great baby, trying to hopefully, you know, that the clothing I put them in is something that appeals to the person who bought them. You know, I'm seeing it from that end of, you know, I don't, when they say stuff like, oh, I'm reborn pregnant, oh my gosh, I can't wait, oh, I'm trying to think of names for this baby. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, but I don't really relate and understand that completely. And now I finally do, because I am so damn excited. And again, I can't even name it. It feels awfully silly to me. Of all babies, this is the one I fell in love with. I'm going to enjoy this experience and try to see it from my client's point of view. You know, it's going to be hard waiting for that shipment to arrive. I like the way it looks, the way it is. I like to see all the bits and pieces that make it move, articulate. I did name him, and it's going to be a him, and I'm going to name him Rocket. And this morning she sent me, and I told her no hurry, you know, take your time whenever you're ready. Send the baby over, send Grace over for me to paint, you know, whatever. And she said, oh, I'm in no hurry either, and I just figured this thing would go on for a bit. You know, things are kind of crazy right now. But she just texted me this morning and said, oh, I'm going over, ooh, there's lightning. I'm going over to the post office this morning. I'm going to throw your baby in the mail. Just wanted to let you know. And I'm like, oh my gosh. All the heads are varnished. The ones with eyes have their eyes in. They're not going to stay in because I have to put lashes in, and I don't like rooting lashes with eyeballs in because I want to get some glue behind there. But let's see. This is how Bailey turned out. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to top root her. And here is Joseph, my little ginger baby. He's cute. Here's Ruby. See how big her head is? I mean, look at her head compared to Joseph's. But that's okay. I think she's super, super cute. Those lips, ooh, they're just yummy. Look at that. Brooklyn. She turned out good. I really like her. She's just a cute baby. That's Nellie, and I did the belly plate, and the belly plate just dried, so let me give you a quick look at the match. It turned out really nice. I think it turned out nice. Mindy, she's got her eyes in. They're kind of, they're blue with a little bit of gold in the center. I don't know why I used them. I just thought they looked pretty. She's so cute. And I am going to top root her. There's her hair. Voila. And last but not least, Clyde Awake, and he always has that weird little expression on his face. A little, where am I? I don't know, where am I? Like he just woke up on a new planet. I guess maybe that's how it is kind of when you're born, right? You just wake up and you're like, what the heck is going on here? So he's kind of tiny, very, very cute. Actually, I sold a newborn Clyde to one of my favorite collectors, and she said, I saw another newborn Clyde on your bench. I might need to snag another one. So there you go. That's what he looks like.